Hello and welcome to the Build with Baer Workshop. My name is Pat Baer. I'm here to build a model kit and to hang out with all of you. I'm throwing the Barricade Lego the site, the tier 2 blue emote in the chat. If you are currently a subscriber, you can reply with those emotes. If you are not yet a subscriber, you can say hi or use other people's emotes. Or if you want to be a lurker, you can go ahead and lurk, and that's okay. This might be a chill Monday. I was hoping that because some folks have today off, or they know they have tomorrow off, that we might have a plethora of folks joining us on a Monday. That might not be the case tonight, and that's okay. If you're here, you're family. No, if you're here, thank you. If not, it happens. If you're watching this later on Twitch on the VOD or watching this on my YouTube VOD channel, thank you very much for that. Doodles says, hello. Hello, Doodles. Welcome, welcome. Tonight's agenda, of course, the Providence Gundam. We're working on the Providence Gundam. Oh, autofocus decided to have fun there. We're working on the Providence Gundam. We'll continue to work on that kit. Aristofan's here. Hello, Aristofan. Working on the head now, and then we'll move on to the arms. We are going to talk about some dumb Twitter bullshit, some anime news, some video game news, maybe some wrestling news. I don't know. I got some stuff. Second hour, we're going to talk about a manhwa. That's right, it's Manhwa Monday. We'll talk about manhwa that I've been reading, a fairly new one. And then we'll talk about some anime, the 12th or 24th, depending on who you ask, episode of Mobile Suit Gundam, The Witch from Mercury. And, of course, Sweet Reincarnation, a new show, because the new season is upon us. And we need to talk about that. And there'll be some other things to chat about as well. We will remember a lovely man that we lost 10 years ago today. Of course, it wasn't announced then. A couple days later, word got out. But the late, great Ryan Davis, rest in peace, Ryan, who, is just like a wonderful monster. You know what I mean? Like, not a capital M monster, a lowercase m monster. Just like a great dude. Gone way too soon. 10 years is wild to think about. So I was familiar with Ryan for like years before we finally met in person. But we were friends on the internet through mutuals and nonsense, some goofiness and silliness. During drives he and Jeff had, where they would be on Mixler, I would occasionally chat with them about some stuff, comedy-wise, so kind of, like various shenanigans. And of course, our mutuals in harmonics meant that when I reached out to him and said, hey, I'm doing PAX East this year. I got a comedy panel about video games and the internet. Would you be on it? Ryan was like, yes. And I pitched it with his name on it and Chris Kohler's name on it and Eric Pope's name on it. And then apparently, I didn't know this. For years, I didn't know this. That PAX reached out to Ryan to make sure that, because they didn't know me, they knew UCB, which I had mentioned was a show that I'd run at UCB that I was bringing to PAX, but nobody affiliated with PAX or Reed knew me at the time. So they were like, Ryan, what is this? They're like, oh, Pat's funny, this will be good. And they used the line, which, I didn't say in my application, like, he grew up with Chris, and we know him, and it's going to be fun. And then, like, half an hour before the panel, Ryan was like, okay, so what's this panel? Because he hadn't read any of my emails, which is fine. I had backups in case Ryan didn't send me anything. And then one of his videos, we used his, like, Wi-Fi hotspot to get some videos. But I was prepared. I wasn't 100% prepared for this, but I'm an improviser at heart, so I rolled with it. I got roasted before the panel started. We had taken the podium off and the panel floor, and it was moved, but the wireless mic was still attached to it. So Ryan, as people were coming in, just walked up to the podium and started just chatting with the audience as they came in and riffing with them, and then kind of like talking about me and how like Ryan was like, I don't know why you're here, guys. I don't know what this is, and like whatever. And I just like waited until we were about ready to start, and then I was just like, Ryan, do you want to come up here with us? And he came up because it was just like that was Ryan Davis. Ryan Davis liked, if he liked you, he liked to bust your balls. That was part of him. And that's not my style. Like I'm not that. I'm big up. I don't goof with. I goof with. I don't goof at. That's just my style. We got different styles. But I've learned a long time ago that you can't show weakness with folks like that. Folks that lovingly rip. You can't show any weakness. You gotta just accept it. They want you to give it back, and I would in my own way, which was facilitating shenanigans during Giant Bomb panels. The best being the money pit, the money booth for Dan, and spinning it, because the money booth wasn't my idea. That was a Lang idea that Drake made happen. My idea was, what if we ask Dan questions to give him more time in the money thing, and they're like life lessons that Dan should learn. So even if he doesn't get them right, he'll learn something. And I put together that. That was my big... But I facilitated lots of dumb bullshit at PAX during Giant Bomb panels. That was my... payback for shenanigans from Ryan over the years. We lost him, and it's unbelievable that we did. I don't know. Life lessons like not to eat this shell-of egg. Yes. Just common things. I think one of the questions was, what is a mortgage? And we gave like, there were just like simple things that I like wanted him to like think. And he goes, okay, so I know that. And like you had to do like creative thinking. If then what else? We're going to get started. Let's go to the overhead. Yeah, we lost Ryan way too soon. I think about all the shenanigans that I got into that Ryan... I mean, the dude wasn't a big wrestler. He wasn't a wrestle dork. But the live performance aspect of League of Heels, like Ryan would have had a great time with that. He would have loved the nonsense of it. Improvised post-mortem, he would have agreed to have done, and it would have been a fun energy in there. The fact that we did the Giant Bomb Cards Against Humanity, like imagine Ryan Davis at the biggest hall at that theater in front of 4,000 people. Like, it would have been perfect. I think about some of the shenanigans that we got up into, and we will continue to get up into, that he would have been just so good for and would have had so much fun doing. It's a real shame. Hey, Lashbrook. So, yeah. I said this on Twitter. I've said this before. I will say it again. I can do cool shit in part because Ryan Davis backed me up. And I don't take that lightly. Would I have gotten a PAX panel without him? Maybe not that first one. I would have done some other shit. Hey, I'm John. I was having good connections with... I would have done the wrestling panel, the first wrestling panel, which was not League of Heels called at the time, but it is League of Heels retroactively. I would have done that because I was friends with all those dudes. So I would have had that. 4-4ing it probably eventually would have gotten picked up. Like, it's not saying that I wouldn't have done that, but there are people who know me because of that first PAX panel. Because at the time they only did giant bomb panels. Brad 1 year before I think did like one other panel. But if you want to see giant bomb, they only did giant bomb panels, and it was the only way to see them. So me doing a panel with Ryan was like a big deal for a lot of people. It was the second PAX East ever, or the third PAX East. I can't remember. Maybe it was the third PAX East, but whatever. It was still early into that, and it was like an incredible opportunity to see that dude. And it'll always mean a lot. I am very blessed by those fine folks. Just wanting to do nonsense, getting on board with my silliness. So yeah. Speaking of this kit, I should just say I had an option here for part of the head. I could have used a clear part, as you can see there, but I'm going to use this yellow gold, piss gold, this odd color, because there's only a couple other parts of this. There'll be some clear pieces. I mean, there's clear right here for the eyes, but there's only 4 pieces that are this color. Around the collar, and then some of the vents here on the chest. So I want to continue that color because these are the only pieces that are looked at. There's a bunch of clear parts that'll go in on this kit, so I'm not going to use the clear part that came with it as an option. I love that there's an option. I love that I had the choice, but I have made the choice to go with this part, and I think it'll look cool like that. So this has to go like around. How do you fit in here? That's there. Oh, like that. Okay. Oh, all right. That looks good. And we won't even see all of this because of the sticker, but we'll see it there. So it's not like we're going to see a lot of this particular piece, but it was nice to have, nice to have that there. I did the sticker already off stream because I was just, tiny stickers, just trying to get them on and move on with my life. So yeah, I don't have much else to say about Ryan other than we miss him, and it would have been interesting to see. I will say that somebody who's been following me for quite some time decided that today, a person I don't know, I don't remember them ever liking any of my tweets. They followed me. I don't know who they are. I've forgotten their name, but I'll remember them a little bit. Apparently, all these years and more didn't like Ryan and decided that me mentioning him being gone was the perfect opportunity to talk shit about him. And it was just like, know your audience, dude. What the fuck? Like, you've just been waiting to say something really awful and mean to me? It was a weird time. Because he wasn't even doing fuck Ryan Davis. Because, I know that meme, the love Ryan Davis, fuck Ryan Davis. I know that meme. That's not this meme. It was just someone saying a hurtful thing about a deceased friend of mine. And it's just like, well, if that was a joke, I didn't get it, and it sucked. And I don't know you enough to be like, because there are friends of mine that make jokes that I don't think are in the right spirit, and I will say like, hey, that sucks. It sucks what you said. But that's not what this was. That was just somebody who decided they were just going to be cruel. It's like, oh no, I don't need that. Twitter's dying, but I don't need to put up with bullshit on Twitter. Like we're almost done with that. Okay, we're almost in the clear of all of the bullshit. So I don't got time for that. Speaking about Twitter, they're making it even worse. They're making it they're making it even worse. So they increased phantomly apparently increased the limits. So you're not going to see the rate limits as much as you were before. One place you weren't seeing the rate limits at all, apparently, was on TweetDeck. TweetDeck wasn't enforcing the rate limits, either by design or by accident. They weren't. So some people were very excited about that. But don't worry, that's not going to stick around because they're forcing you to upgrade. If you use TweetDeck, you got to upgrade to the new version. And then in 30 days, the new version will be only available to be used by people with Twitter Blue. So you will have to pay to use a thing that people have used for a very long time, both on mobile and on as the like the app version, because they don't want to use the Twitter interface. Now, these are people who are professionals who are using this, and they're using it to be logged into multiple accounts at once for their work. You know, it's social media people and stuff like that. These are people that are, you know, maybe their work would pay for them to become Twitter Blue users, but like, it's nonsense. It sucks. And apparently TweetDeck has, you know, TweetDeck's been dealing with some issues right now. Lists, the way that lists work that people were using, that's gone away and pretty much doesn't work anymore, which is a shame for folks that were following things and use it and trying to make Twitter manageable for them and the particular career that they're, you know, their jobs. Yeah, real nonsense. And yeah, everybody's got to switch over to the new version. Yeah, columns weren't working. Let's see. Rate limits only apply to the new TweetDeck and Twitter. Legacy, so this is legacy. This is why they're getting rid of it. Of course, because, let's see. Oh, hey! Bad Gunpo just raided with a party of 16. Welcome, Raiders. Hello. We just got started, today. Welcome. Happy to have you here. We're working on the Providence Gundam from Gundam Seed. As you can see, we've completed the chest of this, and we're working on the head right now. And I hey, welcome. And hello, Tony. But welcome, everybody coming in from that raid. Jason, you know, end of a stream, I'm sure you're going to do a bunch of stuff and not hang out, which is fine. But congratulations on doing a stream from your new place. I hope everything's working out with that. I didn't get a chance to stop in tonight, but I hope that the new setup is treating you well. Yeah, we're working on the Providence Gundam here. We are almost done with the head. We've got a few more parts to go in there. Good. I'm glad to hear that. Yeah. I know that getting set up a new space can be difficult, so I'm glad that's going well. We were just talking about Twitter ruining TweetDeck, another nail in the coffin. So I'm on Blue Sky. I can't tell you that I can't accurately inform you that I'm the first model kit builder or gunboat builder on Blue Sky. I don't think I'm the first, because like I didn't get in at the very beginning. I've only been there for like a little under 2 weeks, so like there's probably another one. I could probably like look or whatever. Bad Gumpel retroactively is no, no. But I'm definitely one of the early people in there for that. Somebody asked me, so is it just Twitter? And the answer is like, kinda. If you wanted a Twitter alternative that was... Oh, well, thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you for the raid, of course, Jason. And take it easy, buddy. So I'll say this. If you just want Twitter again, it's close. There's some stuff missing, and there's some stuff that's missing like by design, and some stuff that's missing just because of like money, and they're like figuring stuff out and funding and all that. So if you just want Twitter again, that's the closest one. If you want like a different experience, if you want an experience, I would say Mastodon like is probably the best like social media out there that is doing something a little different. The way it works, the way like they don't quote posts there. You're just doing reposting, whereas Blue Sky you can quote, and some people think that that is part of the reason why Twitter sucked was because of that. All right, so why can't I get this to work right? Where do you belong? Where do you go? Oh, your face. That's what it is. That's why I couldn't get these. I was doing like cheeks. There. Oh, okay. So some people not thrilled with the way Blue Sky runs. I would say I'm on a bunch of socials. Hive, not it. Buggy, weird. I don't like the vibe there. Everyone was like, we're going to try Hive. And then Hive like imploded immediately when everyone tried it. And then people were like, oh yeah, Hive. Yeah, no, I'm good. Co-host. Co-host is just better Tumblr. Co-host is Tumblr run by like 4 people instead of whoever Yahoo sold it to. You know what I mean? It doesn't have an app on purpose. Here's a secret, friends. You like co-host? You wish there was an app for co-host? Open it in Safari on your phone, and then you can set it on your home screen, and then it makes it an app that runs through Safari. And that way, they don't have to run an app, and that's one of the reasons why Tumblr got shitty, was because the Tumblr app had to deal with Apple. This prevents them from having to have an app that has to deal with Apple, and in the long run, it's better for it. But the co-host is not a replacement for Twitter. Co-host is a replacement for Tumblr. And I think it does a pretty fucking good job of that. Blue Sky is, it's a Twitter competitor. Threads, I assume I'll have an account on Threads because I have an Instagram account, but I don't know. Threads is coming out soon. That's Facebook's, or Meta, I should say. That's Meta's answer to Twitter. And that's not an answer. I'll park my account name there if it isn't just my Instagram handle. But basically they're approaching it like, hey, it's like Instagram, but with text. Remember Google Wave? I do remember Google Wave. I'm John. Hey, these pieces don't want to fucking stay in, huh? Why don't you want to stay in? Why don't you want to stay in? But yeah, these pieces here don't. I might have to use a little liquid cement to make these stay. We'll see. Yeah, these want to pop out. So, all right, I'm gonna do the old trick here. I'm doing it right. It's not that I'm doing it wrong. It's just they want to pop out, and I don't want them to. So, we're going to help them along because they should friction hold, but they're not friction holding. So, just gonna put a little bit of the liquid cement on there. Get that going. Try not to breathe it in too much. Okay, Coleman says, those were loose on mine till I painted. Yes, that would make sense, right? I'm sure that the painting certainly helped it as well. I won't be doing that on this kit because all of my painting equipment, the limited amount that I had, because I barely did any. I never did any stream, but I did a little bit of painting just in my free time on some kits. That's all in New York, so I don't have any of that down here. But I never had a good streaming setup for that when I was in New York. So I couldn't do it there. So instead I would just, oof, yeah. All right, so I got a little bit of liquid cement here. And I'm just going to put a little pressure on there. Let's see. Other things we can talk about tonight. I got a few things. Yeah, that was the Twitter thing. Let's see. Other things. Here's a small one. Yeah, turns out setting a stream setup to paint is very hard. Yes. It definitely feels like a challenge. Hey, there's a new isekai coming out sometime in the future. And it's a partnership between Wit Studio and WB Japan. That's right. Harley Quinn and the Suicide Squad. Wit Studio, you might know from Ranking of Kings and Spy Family. But Suicide Squad Isekai is the actual name of this project. It is an anime project. And it is directed by Ariosada. The screenplays of it are going to be from someone that adapted ReZero. So, some isekai chops. And also the person behind Vivi, which people really liked and I didn't. It seems to be fully CGI in a way that makes total sense, but I don't really particularly enjoy the look of. But who knows? I don't know. Just Another Spicy says, that sure is a collab. Also, hi, Pat. Hello, Just Another Spicy. Happy to have you here. Yeah, it's one of those things where I'm like, this does not sound good, but also, maybe it will be. I do like Harley Quinn. I do like some of the animated adaptations of the Suicide Squad. I could enjoy this. My back camera sticker fell off here, so I'm going to try to get that applied. See if I can get that back on. I don't know why that came off. It's annoying. If it doesn't stay, it doesn't stay. It's the back sticker. Who cares? You know what I mean? Yeah, this thing doesn't want to stay anymore. That's fine. Get rid of you then. You don't want to stay on? You don't have to. We're good. Yeah, that's a bunch of nonsense. It's just this is a bunch of nonsense words thrown together, but sure, you know what? Sure. You know what? Sure. I don't care. I'll watch the first episode of it, unless it's on Netflix, because I really don't want to get Netflix. That's my big thing right now is, oh, that anime sounds fun. Oh, I don't want to get Netflix right now. As it is, my friends, I'm already wondering if, should I be paying this season? Should I be paying for High Dive? Because right now, there's only one show on coming out on High Dive that I really want to watch, which is The Most Heretical Last Boss Queen from Villainous to Savior, which I enjoy the manga of. So I would like to check that out. But right now, that's the only one that I'm like, oh yeah, all right, well, I'll watch that. So I got to see it. There's probably at least one more, but if there's only one, I don't know. Trying to minimize my subscriptions here where I can. Just use the ones that I want to use all the time. Like Wrestle Universe, the best subscription I pay for. Right now, because the yen is low, I pay $6 a month for 4 wrestling promotions content. I only really watch 2 of them at most. I watch a bunch of DDT. I watch all of Tokyo Joshi Pro Wrestling. And then I will catch occasional Gambare and occasional Pro Wrestling Noah, which theoretically is supposed to be the one that I would want to watch as Noah. But, yeah. And Gambare is all on Handycam because they're trying to do an indie style. So sometimes watching those is tough. So yeah, I mean, that's just, that's where I'm at with subscription services. It's like, well, there's a few that I really like, and then a bunch that I'm like, maybe I'll check that out. So right now I don't have Netflix, and I don't necessarily intend to have Netflix in the future. So I'm like, maybe I don't need to watch some anime that's coming to that. There's not a lot this season, but there's a couple. Okay, so... Oh, all right. They want me to put this piece on first on here, so... I was supposed to do this first and then put it on. I was supposed to do this. Get that on there. And then put this on here. Yeah, and then it fits right on. It was annoying because I was doing it wrong. And we're done. The head is completed. We can now put the head onto our chest there. Let's make sure that this is lined up right. Okay. And then I'm going to try to attach this without pushing too much pressure on there. Great. So nothing fell off. And hopefully this will all look good. And the Providence Gundam is already looking incredible. It's already looking real good. My lighting is still not exactly where I would like it. It is better than I think my previous attempts. The bleed is very minimal. Like right here, there's some bleed. But this area is still brighter than I would like. That is bright, but it could be brighter. But if it gets too bright here, then I get washed out, and I don't want that either. So, still trying to balance it. Somebody suggested that I get like a light source that I can do like over here, and it would shoot this way. And if it was like, and I could put some tape over the top of it so it didn't come up to my face. And I was like, that might be a solution. I don't know. Let's see. Other things we can chat about as we move on to the arms, which we will apparently make in parallel. Let's see. Oh, there are a couple news stories that I thought were kind of fun, like gaming news stories. Not a lot of gaming news stories. Danny O'Dwyer. This isn't. Do they make LED light strips powerful enough for this? So Lashwork, I think if it was only going to be lighting this surface, that I could get an LED strip that would be bright enough. And then it wouldn't splash too much in my face. I don't know for sure, but it sounds like that. Danny O'Dwyer is doing some cool shit out there. Danny got access to a bunch of old tapes last year, I believe. Saved a bunch of old tapes from the landfill and has been working hard on figuring out exactly what to do with said tapes. And a lot of it is going to be uploaded to archive.org and then, of course, YouTube, the YouTube channel as well. But, some of that stuff, like, if it's got, like, licensed music, they're going to have to mute that and stuff like that because some of those can't end up like that or end up in that state. So he's working on that slowly, and that's important. And, one example, the guy showing the avatars, the Xbox avatars, that was like, you want to see, the bottom of an avatar's foot. Bam. We now get to see the HD high-quality version of that. Not the version that went out to websites at the time. And not like, oh, we took the original that we had and we used like machine learning to upscale it. No, he's going from the source quality of it, which is exciting. Yeah, NoClip continues to do great work. Sometimes their documentaries are on subjects I don't particularly, I don't want to say care about, but I don't have like a lot of interest in. But I think their work is stellar and incredibly necessary. And so I'm always psyched to be able to support and to big up the work that Danny does with NoClip. It's fantastic that he continues to do shit that he wants to do in ways that he wants to do them. But yeah, Danny got a lot of tapes, and now he's finally starting to do some cool shit with those tapes. And that's awesome. Good on him. Let's see. J17. So this kit doesn't have any poly caps because it's a master grade, which does mean that it does often have tiny little pieces that basically replace a poly cap. Like this would be a poly cap in another kit. So you got to do that on occasion. You got to get those. So we're just getting the things we need ahead. And then, of course, we're doing the left arm and right arm at the same time. So we'll just get that together. Let's see. There was a couple gaming stories that I thought was kind of fun. I did want to talk about Only Up, this like game that kind of took over. It's a climbing game that kind of took over some streams. Twitch streamers got really into it because it's punishingly difficult because it seems to be like not a particularly like well-made game and kind of weird, but also like people were like, oh, this is kind of fun because it's like another culture for mine and like really delving into some political, social, economic issues, but also may have used some assets that it didn't have proper licenses for, which is fun. Should also say, even beyond that, full of NFT bullshit. The jacket of the character you're running is like a popular NFT thing, and it definitely got a little bit of funding from NFT nonsense. So, not the best. Let's see, where was the update? They updated this article. Only Up is back. It was pulled from Steam for a little bit, is now back on Steam. And also, hey, guess what? It's discounted. They put it back on Steam and discounted it. And they said, oh, it'll be back soon, and then it deleted that tweet. I was wondering why so many VTubers I follow were only streaming that game for memberships. Yeah. Oh, members only on Steam. Yes. So most likely they were doing members only because the NFT shit came out, and they just didn't, like, those streamers didn't want to hear it, so they only want to hear from the diehards, because there are people who, when NFTs get involved, are very eager to get into your chat to talk shit. And I don't mind that. But of course, some people don't want that disruption. They want to play the game they're playing, and they don't want to hear, they don't want to see people get mad about that shit. They just want to do what they want to do, and they don't want to, like, deal with possible consequences for their actions. Let's see. The model in question. Oh, some of these things are listed on Sketchfab, which is explicitly says it's for non-commercial use. The game was $10, and now it's on sale. And of course, PC Gamer pointed out, Only Up has dealt with some controversy prior to this because it has NFT promotion. But Steam only has rules against NFTs if you're buying and selling them in game instead of just promoting them. So it wasn't against Steam's terms of service to promote NFTs. It just sucks ass. It's just shit to do that. So, not necessarily no harm, no foul on that one, but also like, well, fuck off. It's mostly like, go to hell. So we'll see. That game, like, I watched, like, one, maybe Grand Poobah. Yeah, I think it was Grand Poobah, because I occasionally get served, I should say, not serviced. I get served his streams, so occasionally I'll be like, I'll check this out. Hey, thank you very much, Jace, for the follow. I appreciate that. Welcome, the old Baer Workshop. Thanks for hitting the follow button. Always appreciate that. Yeah, if you came in from the raid or you're just here because you're checking out stuff in Makers and Crafting, thank you very much, everybody. Let's see. Let me get these tiny pieces out here. Again, there's some small little pieces we got to deal with on this kit, which is fine. Put that there. We'll put that there. What else we need? 32, I-32, and then I-31. Okay. One of the benefits of this kit, even though it is really complicated, coming out not too long ago, is that the instructions have lots of English, which is great for your friend Pat, who does not read Japanese. And I have an app on my phone that will do, like, translations, but I don't use it that often. And it would be, like, weird for me to, like, oh, yeah, hey, we're streaming. Let me get my phone out. I've done it in the past. Not on stream, but I have done it just to make sure that I'm, like, doing it right. Occasionally, like, especially older kits, there would be something that was coming out, and I'd be like, I have no idea what this is asking of me. Oh, no. Most of the time, I just stare and struggle. Hello, I made my first Gunpla today. Hell yeah, Jace, that's awesome. Welcome, and congratulations on starting it off. It's I've talked a lot about my beginnings in model kit building. I don't know if I've ever said this. I'll just say it here. The reason why I got into the reason why I started model kit building, I don't know if why I got into it. The reason I started was because I really liked Gundam Wing on Cartoon Network. Actually, no, maybe it was fan subs. It was pre-Cartoon Network. I saw some fan subs of Gundam Wing, and I was like, oh, I want a Death Scythe. So I went to the anime import place and the mall to get something Death Scythe related. and I bought a 144 scale high grade of the Death Scythe. I bought a model kit thinking I was buying an action figure. Cho the Doge is following. Thank you very much, Cho. Welcome, welcome. So I did not know that I was, like I said, at the time, unaware that I was buying a model kit. Deathstrike is here. Welcome, Deathstrike. Happy to have you here. Yeah, I just had no idea that that was what I was purchasing. I was like, oh, I like these things. I like the Death Scythe. I want to buy a Death Scythe. And then I was like, wait, I don't need glue for this? Oh, True Death from the Discord. Great. Thank you for letting me know, Death. I appreciate that. Thanks for coming in from the old Jeff Gersman Discord. Yeah, I had no idea. I was like, oh, I have to build this? What does that mean? Like, how do you build a model kit? Like, I just was like completely and utterly confused on what I needed to do there. But I was like, because I had done glue kits like cars and planes and stuff, but I had no idea what I was doing. And of course, hey, I'm old. YouTube didn't exist. There was not a YouTube for me to go and like look up tips and or tricks or technique or anything like that. So I went onto my BBS, one of the many BBSs that I frequented at the time, because I was definitely on AOL, but I didn't have any resources for AOL chat rooms. So I went to the largest BBS that I could dial into for my local area, and went into the hobby kind of like message board on there. And I was just like, hey, I bought a model kit, and I think this is a snap kit. I need help. And a dude in there was like, hey, you know how I've been inviting you to the anime club? I was like, yeah. He's like, come to the next anime club, come a half an hour early, and I'll give you like a couple tips and get you started on it. And I was like, yeah, I've been saying I'm going to come to the anime club. So I went to the anime club and met up with this gentleman and got some tips on how to make this happen. Which is also, so I should also say, you know, I've been getting fan subs and doing that thing. Gundam Wing, like buying a model kit of the Death Scythe, is also how I started actively participating in anime clubs, because I was like, actually, this is pretty cool. I was like, oh yeah, all right. I guess this is part of who I am now, as I come to these meetings and watch anime and tape trade and do all that. Because I was already tape trading, but now I had more people to tape trade with. One of the comic book shops that I frequented a lot in my youth had a list if you wanted to tape trade with people. They ran a list because the owner recognized that people would trade tapes, but also would buy tapes from him, and he just wanted to increase the amount of people that were around and coming in, because instead of going to people's houses, you could tape trade at the comic book shop, and then maybe you'll buy some fucking comics while you're there. It's goddamn brilliant of him to facilitate that. Death says, my first kit was a 1/100 Master Gundam, and I didn't know what was supposed to happen. What was happening, since it was 1995 and I used glue. Yeah. The reverse is really funny. The first time that I bought I suddenly found myself needing glue or liquid cement on stream, because I bought an initial D kit. I bought the 86, and the kit, like the description on the website, made it sound like it was a snap kit, and it wasn't a snap kit. And I was like, oh God, this is a glue kit. What? That was a learning curve. I'm now definitely much more prepared for glue kits. But I was like, what? What do I have to do? I'm gonna have to postpone this build because this is not. It's a car kit, and car kits are still glue. Who? I didn't know that. I'm sure many people knew that. I was not someone that knew that at the time. All right, so I gotta push this in like that. So again, this is basically taking the place of a polycap. So we'll just pop that in like that. And there's a bit of an illustration to let me know that I believe I have done this properly. Yeah, that looks right. And then this goes in like that. You know, and we'll bust out the part separator if I'm messing this up. But yeah, so that was my introduction to model kit building, was accidentally buying a model kit instead of an action figure, and then being like, well, I guess I have to learn how to do this and get obsessed. I guess I'm going to get obsessed with this. Is this the right piece? No, this is This is right. It's just not. There we go. Oh, it had to snap together. I hate that. I don't like putting pressure on model kit components. It makes me very uncomfortable to be like, oh, and then you have to, put a lot of put more than a normal amount of pressure on that piece. It's like, what? Why? This is my life now. Yeah, I mean, I stopped doing it for quite some time. I've talked about this, but, briefly. I did stop model kit building at one point. College, I didn't have money for model kits. And also room to build model kits. And then I moved back home after a year at school, and then moved to New York, and I was living in New York, and I was like, I don't really have room to do this. And when I first got to New York, I did buy some kits because there was Image Anime in New York. There was a place. I've stopped because I have no more room. Yeah. But I did find a store, and that's where I was buying like DVDs and eventually Blu-rays and keeping up with that. And they had some kits, and I bought some kits, and then I just wasn't building what I had. But I always missed it. And, I would say this before. As we approach my 6-year anniversary of it being a streamer, which is the 20th this month, will be my 6th year from the first day that I streamed. I kind of had the realization that I missed it. I really missed doing this. I missed model kit building, and this might be a fun thing to do as a stream. I had joked about. Well, Austin Walker joked about becoming a Gunpla streamer in a video. He joked about that. He did like a parody video thing of that for Giant Bomb. And I was like, what if I did that? What if I just did that? What if I just bought model kits and built model kits? Thank you, Coleman. I appreciate that. Death Strike has 15 plus kits in the backlog. Yeah, I mean, I used to be like that. I'm not like that. Being severely, underemployed, and then also model kit building or in Lego building, 6 hours a week will cut through your backlog. If you're not constantly buying kits, you eventually start running low on them. Lester says, I'm like frustratingly close to finishing the Rose Gundam. Ooh, I have that coming this month. I just got sucked into Street Fighter 6 and then got laid up with this ankle. I just need to do the base and the rose bits. Nice. John, I've only got 8, but we haven't built in a couple months over here. You haven't built one. Yeah. I mean, like, hey, the thing I always say is, like, this is a thing that I really enjoy doing. If I didn't enjoy model kit building, I would do something else on stream. I really like streaming, and I still really like model kit building and doing Lego. And of course, I did the 3D puzzle, and occasionally like jump in on something a little different. That is really fun. So I do get to like jump in on other things and try a few different things. But like, hell, I would just do a variety stream and occasionally build like a Lego set if I stop liking what I'm doing here. But if you are doing this purely, if you're model kit building purely for enjoyment, like, and other things happen, it's like, okay, then other things come up. You get really into a video game, or you don't really have space because you had to move around, and you're like, oh, I don't have a dedicated area to do this in. I'll get back to it, or I want to do other things. Like, sure. One of the easiest ways to avoid burnout is to not do a thing. That's a great way to avoid getting burned out by the thing, is to just be like, I'm just going to take a break. 80% are SD kits that need more than a minor amount of hand painting. Yeah, I mean, look, if you're painting, that adds to it, right? I'm just doing panel lining and sticker work. That already is more than some people. Some people just assemble. I used to be a only eye sticker guy. I would only do eye stickers because those felt important. I wouldn't do any other stickers because I hated them, but I got better at it and also got better equipment to make my life easier. But yeah, do what you want to do with that stuff is really the only thing I'll say. The pain of living in Asia with super cheap prices means I'm juggling my backlog around to make space for my builds. Oh, totally, yeah. Did you get a chance to see the Instagram post I shared under your post about streaming tech? I did, Deathstrike. Yeah, I mean, like, that's a great looking kit. I'm not a painter myself. I did do one painting during Plastic Model Weekender this year. I applied some glitter paint, and I will be doing that again to other kits because I still have some of that glitter paint and I want to use it. But the fine detail stuff, like I do have an airbrush kit. I have used it in the past, now on stream in my own projects. I'm not a diehard when it comes to that stuff, but I do enjoy it. I just like, I mean, like, I know people that they have their setup, right? They'll put the mask on and they mic themselves underneath so they can be heard. They have like lapel mics and they have a really good gate so you don't hear them while the fans are going. And like they'll paint and do all that, and they've built the contraption to do that stuff, and I think that's awesome. But yes, or people hand paint. I mean, hell, I would say this: I would not be engaging with chat nearly as much as I do now if I was hand painting. And I know a bunch of people that do that. I mean, people do Warhammer. There are streamers that are painting Warhammer. That's nonsense to be doing that level of detail on stream. To me, is remarkable. It's not foolish. It's awesome. But that's beyond my level of attention to detail. Yes, they're definitely. I mean, I have only painted 2 Warhammer miniatures, and those were both free miniatures with demos at PAX Unplugged. I've done that the past 2 years because I have when I go to PAX Unplugged these days, I have a lot more free time and a lot less friends I know there. So I have time to like goof around and get a little painting going. And I enjoyed it as a meditative thing. It's not a thing that I would get into, I don't think. I don't see myself getting into that hobby. So I got to look up these are Chinese knockoffs. These were inexpensive Amazon knockoffs because my good pair, so I'm going to look up the name. My good pair here, we're getting shake there. Sorry about that. My good pair here, chipped. These weren't the best brand of God Hands, but they're the second best. You can kind of see that there. A piece chipped on there from just overuse. So I got these snippers from Amazon, and I'm gonna look up the name, like, is just like, so let's see if I can find it. Clipper. Let's see if I can find the name. Nope. So snipper. Is it going to be under snipper? Nope. I don't know if I'm going to be able to find the name of this, but yeah, it was a. Oh, here we go. Well, let's see. Yeah, ANASI, Anasi, Anasi. They are clear. When I bought this, the packaging had one label taped over another. So these are made at the same place as like other nippers. Um, these are definitely knockoffs. Uh, yeah. Oh yeah. Here's the thing. So these are made at the same place as the ones that like have the names, from USA Gundam Store and Gundam Planet and all those. This is like a little bit of a lower quality. It didn't have the fine tip there, snippers, but they work really well, and they were like $20. Uh, I do want to get. One day I'll buy enough from USA Gundam Store that makes sense to also get the nippers because I do theirs seem good. I know people that really like those, so I'll probably get them through USA Gundam Store or Gundam Planet. If I next time I make a large order at one of those places, I should probably just do that. Coleman used knockoffs. In the Ustar single side nippers, they work well. Yeah, these work well because they're not fragile. They've got a good release on them, but they're also getting up close and personal. And then I have wire cutters for breaking down big things, and then occasionally working on weird old kits. There was there are a couple kits that I bought that were from like the 90s where the plastic was so thick that I didn't want to use these nippers on them because I thought they would break because it was just like old, brittle, but thick plastic. And I was like, you know what? You know what's perfect for these? My wire cutters. Wire cutters also good for cutting through all this shenanigans here. Through all the sprues and all that. All right, so this is going to go in. We'll finish this step, and then we'll take our pause for the cause, talk about ways you can support the channel and all that. This goes in here, and then this is going to go in here. Ooh, yeah, that does fit in there. All right, and that's going to go like that, like that. All right. That's a tip there's a tip from me to you, friends. Before you start locking stuff together, and then you have to get out the spudgers or your part separator, does the movement feel natural? Does the opening and closing feel like it should feel? So you're like an actual joint. Sometimes high grades, it's hard to mess that up, but I found in master grades, or real grades especially, sometimes in a real grade, there's so much weird shit going on that I forget to like make sure I've done this right. Even the, Iron-Blooded Orphans kits, they're a little more, more demonic than humanoid. They still need to operate, with a base like that. Okay, so we did that. And they're moving the way they should, which means those are together. And we can button those up and put the back piece on. Next, tell me to sharp nippers for the initial cuts and then Gundam Planet for the cleanup. Yeah. But those aren't as sharp as anymore. Yeah, so I'm a one nipper guy. I'm not even a two snip guy. Some people are two snips. They will do they will pull the piece out here and they will do the away from it snip. And then they will do the cleanup, or they'll use a tool to rub off the extra, or an X-Acto blade to rub off the extra there. I do not have the patience, or really the time, to be that delicate. If I was doing kits just for myself, I certainly would consider it. But since I am streaming for all y'all, I don't want to waste on that. I don't want to waste time on that. I want to get into it. Real grades are scary to test joints because some parts need the outer armor for strength. Yes. Yeah, the real grades can be tough. The newer real grades, I think, are better. The early ones were a little tough there, especially the parts that are like the B sprue, that is all of the parts that like is just you turn this, you turn that, you twist this around, and suddenly that's the inner frame of the arm. And then you just have to put armor around it. those aren't terrible to kind of figure out what you need to do, but they can be. So I'm going to take a pause for the cause. I'm going to take an opportunity right now to talk to y'all about ways you can support the channel. And everything I'm going to say here is optional. You don't have to do any of this. We're going to get back to building, working on these arms. We're going to talk about some anime, including a Gundam series that just wrapped up yesterday, with some spoilers, just so you know, because we'll talk about the whole episode. If you haven't watched the finale of Witch Mercury, we'll be talking about that after this. But right now, this is an opportunity for me to talk to you about ways you can support what I do here, which again are all optional. You watching is fantastic. Some people hit the follow button tonight, which I appreciate. If you want to hit the follow button, that would be great. But if you're a subscriber to the Build with Baer Workshop, you can throw the Bear Cave, the Lego, the site, the Tier 2 blue emote in a chat. Subscribing is the easiest way to support what I do here. Thank you, Nako, for the follow. Appreciate that. I build model kits on Mondays, Thursdays, and Saturdays from 9 p.m. to 11 p.m. Eastern. Thank you for the follow, Death Strike. And Ghost Valve just hit. We also put the emotes in, subscribers, because Ghost Valve just subscribed for 26 months, saying almost a year, which is very funny. But thank you very much to Ghost Valve for subscribing for 26 months. That's a whole lot of months, and I appreciate that very much. Thank you for your continued support, friend. And subscribing is the easiest way with cash money to support what I do here. You could also use your Prime Gaming token. If you have Amazon Prime linked with your Twitch, you get that token. You can use it for anybody. If you want to use it for me, that would be rad. You could also gift a sub. We've had no gift subs this month. It's only the second stream of the month. That's okay. And also, I got a lot of gift subs at the end of last month. So, that's the all my emotes, including me as a Lego, me as the Death Scythe, my Bear Cave Lego, and me as Super Saiyan God, Super Saiyan Blue Pat, were all done by the wonderful Xandra. Xandra made all of my emotes, and I believe, yeah, if you click on an emote, it will tell you the artist. That's a very fun thing. If you click on emotes, you can put in the artist, and it'll link to that. Twitch did that, like, I don't know, a year, 2 years ago? A year ago, maybe? And it's a lovely feature. But yeah, all my emotes, you can also see the emote a little bit bigger if you click on it. But yeah, all my emotes were done by Xandra Vandra, her Twitch name. Xandra made all of those wonderful emotes, and they're my icons and logos in various places. Bits and coins also always appreciated. If you just want to cheer, you could do that. And if you want to join the cheerleader board, I've never said it quite like that, but yeah, there is a cheer board there. But yeah, gifting a sub is a way to help out if you're already a subscriber or you don't want to subscribe, but you want to help out the community. There are other ways to support what I do here. I will get through this quickly so we can get back to building. I have a Patreon at patreon.com/PatBear. There, hey, Lord Crashes in, welcome. There's a $1, $3, $5, and $10 tier. There are different rewards for different tiers. Consider joining Patreon. It's an easy way to follow what I do, especially with Twitter falling apart. You can know about my schedule. You can know about the videos that I make, a variety of different kinds of things. And, you know, like I said, different rewards for different tiers. Consider taking a look at that. I have a YouTube channel, youtube.com/PatBear. There are videos there that you can peruse. There's also membership, $2 a month. You get my Wednesday videos on Tuesday. So tomorrow, you'll get the video that everyone else will watch on Wednesday. This is a little day early. And then those are monthly ways to support me, but there's also direct donations if you want to help out the channel and my streaming efforts and increase my backlog. You can give a little bit of money here and there to my coffee or my PayPal or my stream elements. Everything I make through direct donations, through YouTube, which includes AdSense, it adds up. So watching my videos, I make a little money there, and eventually I'll have enough to get a payout. I'm like $20 away from a payout. I'm on my way. My Patreon and my Twitch, everything I make from all of that goes into a fund, and I buy model kits with that money. I have a backlog, but right now, the was mentioned in chat, that's why. The Providence Gundam. The Providence Gundam that I'm working on right now was bought off my Amazon wish list. as a birthday present, and also because John owed me a little bit of money for a wrestling pay-per-view. So it was a combination, which is very fun. But I have an Amazon wish list, and anything that's bought off my wish list jumps the queue and becomes the next thing I build. So I have one other kit. I have a kit and a Lego set in my backlog that were all bought off my wish list. If you want to buy something there, I'll do a dedicated YouTube video about the thing you bought. And then also, like I said, it becomes the next thing that I build. I have Lego sets, inexpensive model kits, expensive model kits. I have various different aerial Gundams because we built all the high grade aerials that are available. But there's the SD aerial, and then there's the full mechanics aerial, and that's on my wish list. A bunch of different kits. The only Iron Blooded Orphans kit that I have not built that was not a premium kit. There's like 2 premium kits that I never got, but the only like out there ones, the Sigrun, I'm fairly sure that's the last one. Some Witcher Mercury kits that I haven't been able to build yet. Inexpensive kits, very expensive kits, all kinds of different stuff. We talked about on Saturday, the gayest Gundam, or the gayest mobile suit, which in my opinion is the Zaku Warrior live concert version. Because it's just so pretty. It's lovely. That's very expensive. That's on my wish list, because why the fuck not? And then some gear, because it's always nice to have some gear options. A bunch of different things. All the things that I would be happy to build if you wanted to buy them. And again, it jumps the queue. All those things are, yeah, hell yeah, it is. It totally is. It's beautiful. It's gorgeous, kit. I have a throne wish list. I got to update that again. I don't update that enough. Yeah, it's a lovely... I mean, I've built the Zaku Warrior before, which is great. This is even a better version of that. But that kit I have built, and I like it. I got a throne wish list. That's an alternative to Amazon. And then, in my backlog right now, I have something, the rarest of all wish list items. The wish list item that I just picked because Dustin out there bought me a gift card to USA Gundam Store. Then whispered me here on Twitch with that gift card code, and then I used that to buy a grunt from Witcher Mercury that I'm going to build in the future because it was there and priced right, and I love a good grunt. I love a grunt with a lot of weapons strapped to a backpack, and that's what we got there. So that'll be built in the future. Let's see. If you want to support me and not spend any money, I have a Discord. I post build photos at the end of every stream. People post stuff they're working on. It is a lovely little community, and sometimes I love the EZ8. The EZ8 rules. That's got a whole backpack full of weapons. Sometimes people just like post stuff they think I'd be interested in Discord, or there's no posts in a whole day. It's very chill. Couple video links for you to check out. I got a new episode of Pat Bear's Anime Club that I put out. More work for Pat to get the news out now. Yes. Got to get the news out. Pat Bear's Anime Club is my ongoing video series. This one was recorded last Tuesday live on Twitch. It was my spring wrap-up summer preview. The summer anime season is upon us. It began this past weekend. And there's a plethora of new shows coming out. And I preview those while also telling you what I thought of the shows from last season. What I liked, what I didn't like, what I skipped over because there was no way I was giving it a chance. What I wish I could, which I think, put on the list of like, hey, on a rainy day, I want to check in on that series because I didn't give it a fair shot. So yeah, I talked a lot about anime in that episode. There's like 2 hours of me talking. And it was recorded live here on Twitch, which is fun. And then Baerly Rehearsed is an ongoing video series where every week I do my best to write and perform a character piece that I have practiced. It's barely rehearsed, but it is rehearsed. And this one is a special version of that. Every 13 episodes in my year-long project, I clean the slate. I clear the slate, I should say, of ideas. Clean it up. Because there's always going to be some ideas that like I thought of, like a shower thought, and I'm like, oh, that's funny, but I'm never going to do anything with it. And then it just clogs up my ideas doc. So I take all those out, organize them, and then just say them out loud. And I've done that. This is the second one of those, which means I'm halfway through this project. But the one's coming out tomorrow for some patrons and YouTube members. Ooh, I got disconnected. Wow, that's fun. Hopefully I got reconnected soon. That came out of nowhere. Ooh, yikes. Oh, that wasn't even Twitch. That's my internet went out. Hey, people watching this later, this will be okay. Hopefully we'll get reconnected here. Hopefully we'll get reconnected any day now. Oh boy, that's fun. I see Lord Crashington put an RIP, but I don't know when they. Okay. Oh, I got reconnected. It looks like I got reconnected. Hit refresh, everybody, or whatever, or reload, refresh. But I'm back. Hey, I didn't even drop any frames. I didn't even drop any frames there, everybody. It just clunked out. That's weird. Yeah, no drop frames, no warning. I just lost my internet connection. Internet got blown up for the 4th. Yeah, I guess so. I can hear the fireworks. My gate should be enough that you don't hear the fireworks. But I hear the fireworks. Anyway, that was the last the link I wanted to share. I'm going to drink some water, and then we're going to talk about some anime, and then we'll talk about some manga after that. But we'll give time for people to get back into it, and then we'll get into some anime talk. We'll start with that. But first, I'm going to drink a little water, and we're going to dramatically transition to the overhead. So here we go. Everybody decided 10 p.m. I mean, I heard anime. I heard fireworks this weekend. With it being on a Tuesday, people are just fucking getting into their goddamn fireworks already. Okay, let's talk about some anime. We got the end of one series, the beginning of another. So let's start with the 12th episode, or if you don't think these were 2 seasons and you like to say this was part 2 of season 1, which is a weird delineation that some people decided they were going to do, but whatever, let them eat cake. It was either it's 1 season. It's not. No one thinks it's 1 season. The people that made it don't think that it's 1 season. They think it's 2 seasons. It did not have a mid-season cliffhanger. It had an end of season 1 cliffhanger. It's the end of Mobile Suit Gundam: The Wish for Mercury. I know you do. But nobody else thinks that way. You're the only one. It's a 2-season show. Either way, the show is complete. Totally right, Doodles. Either way, it's over. The show is completed. So, it was great. Look, do I want the Calibarn kit? Of course I want the Calibarn kit. And especially the extended, the ultimate Calibarn. Suletta is definitely stressed, physically and mentally stressed from using the Calibarn. But she grabs Ariel's remains, where Prospera has captured Earth House, and Prospera is like, oh yeah, totally. And she's like, hey, put Ari on, or Eric, put Ari on. And instead, using the gun format of the Calibarn, the Ariel, the Ferrict, and the Swarzette, combines all that shit together to recharge and then shut everything down and shut down Quiet Zero as well. And finally, everything is shut down there. Shut that shit down. And then Prospera gives up because Eric decided with Suletta. And this whole scene was goddamn gorgeous. As always, the music just like filled it. and added to it, and it was just like a lovely, beautiful looking scene. Um, Meanwhile, Mjolnir makes a public announcement that she's disbanding the group and selling the assets to Earth, which causes the Space Assembly to lose their reason for declaring war in the first place. So they have lost their, like, their excuse for doing whatever the fuck they want to do, because now there's no real reason for it. And then 3 years later, Nika reunites with Earth House after serving time for her crimes and is doing some of her own. Yes, the Pell Granny's got so pissed off. Yes. She's dealing with a lot of stuff there. Ghoul is rebuilding with Elan. Gundam Inc. Has become a medical company. They transitioned into medicine or medical techniques, not necessarily medicine. What else do we have here? Shattuck has taken responsibility for Gracely House and Quiet Zero, and Mjolnir has become a negotiator between Earth and space. So that's her big glow up. That's her new gig. So then we see Mjolnir and Earth House meet up with Suletta, who is still doing rehab. Yes, the girl who was crushed is now trying to deal with new prosthetic legs, and Suletta is still trying to rehab herself after injuries sustained, and she and Mjolnir are married, and that's lovely. And Prospera, looking different. 3 years did a lot to her. But mostly just probably life catching up with her. And Ari are there. And Ari is in a mechanical keychain, which is interesting. So she's still close, and they have devices to kind of communicate with her. And Mjolnir wants to open a piloting school, because that's the thing she's naturally / innaturally best at. And then the end images are beautiful and made me tear up. Yeah, I mean, one would imagine that Prospera. My gut says that they faked her death. And that's why she's not in jail, because Shattuck took responsibility for a lot of that. That's my assumption. Yes, the blue. Yes, we talked. I did mention Nika. But yeah, so obviously it's a way bigger and better happy ending than I could have possibly imagined or dreamed. It was surprisingly happy. And it's kind of remarkable that it is, simply for the fact that, like, look, if you just want to be surface level about this shit, you can. And I think that's totally fucking, man. I don't get deep into shit all the time. I like getting deep into shit, but I'm not always getting deep into the shit. If you don't surface level, like, oh, cool, the underdogs won, Earth House won in the end, and people were happy, great, and that's it. That's all you want to look at it. Totally fine. But a queer woman of color main character had a happy ending. And that's, add to that, possibly on the spectrum character, we don't know. Clearly also disabled, part of the disabled community. A disabled queer a woman of color, had a happy ending in an anime. And like, it's pretty great and pretty weird. Pretty weird and cool as shit. So yeah, if you don't want to like get deep in it, you don't want to like get political, quote unquote, political about it. If you don't want to do that, you just want to look at it from a storytelling perspective. It's still just cool as shit that happened, because like, that's not what people were expecting. I'll say, I don't think a lot of people were expecting that kind of an ending. Would she be a new type? I would classify her as a new type, yes. I mean, she's born in space she was made in space with special powers, so probably. Yes, and Choo Choo is a construction foreman. I would like I don't know if there's going to be... If there's manga, it should be about Choo Choo, right? Like, that's who you write the manga about. That's who your main character... It probably won't be. It'll probably be like Ghoul. Probably like Ghoul's Duels or whatever. Like, that's probably who we'll get for that. It's not the worst thing in the world, but like, no, I that's not exactly what I want in the manga that I'll read later adaptations. Yeah, so, we don't know, we can't 100% put Solette on the spectrum because we don't really have enough information. These are people, this might be projecting, but this is also people seeing themselves in her. But at the very least, the facts that we can confirm about that, we had a happy ending for for these characters, because it's not just that character. It's multiple characters, things working out pretty okay. And that's lovely. And it was a really solid series, and I think it was handled pretty fucking well. I know some people thought that it revved up too fast, and maybe the first half of the second season was a little slow for people's liking, and then it just popped off. But I like that. I think I actually enjoyed the pacing of it. Mech designs were fantastic. Obviously, if they'd been even slower, if they'd had even more time for this second season, you could imagine a world where we got more of the Gundams we didn't really see a lot of. But the ones we did get were, fantastic looking, and we'll have more. I have the Elfrith JUI. I don't know how I'm pronouncing that. I have that coming in September. That's the Elfrith with the big punch arm backpack. So I have that coming. There are other kits from the series that I haven't built yet. One, there's probably two reasons there's several reasons why I think this show was a hit retail-wise for model kits. One, excellent quality model kits, right? Like, the fact that the main Gundams don't have polycaps is a technology that, like applied technology, like stuff they've been doing for a while that they're just like getting better and better at, and it hitting really hard that way. So that's huge, that they're able to do such high quality work. The show being a fucking phenomenal success, just an unbelievable success, right? That's huge because people want stuff from it, they want their representations of the show. And then also, the last Gundam series was the Battlelog, and that was kind of fun, but it was rehashes of old kits. Like the Live Lands Heaven was a new kit, because we didn't have the Death Side Hell high grade. We were getting that from Premium Bandai. I'm getting that this month. But it'd been a while since there had been a Gundam series that people like latched onto. So also, you may remember the global pandemic that happened and how people were like, hey, I want to get back in, or I want to try out model kit building. And then it was hard to get model kits. So these are readily available model kits, and people are excited to be able to purchase them. So it's nice. Aerial chips in the displays. Yeah. Great quality, amazing designs, character associated up the wazoo. Perfect storm. Totally. The best fact is selling out the aerial and shopkeepers putting aerial into sold out displays and then becoming official in collaboration is great. Aerial chips in displays. Okay, yeah. I like them replacing the displays with gun tank and other suits from Gundam Evolution. Oh, yeah, that makes sense too, right? Yeah. There's the kits that are in that, or suits. Kits for suits that are in that. Last work, obviously I've built so many Gundam Wing kits. I've built everything you can build from Gundam Wing. There are variations, right, that I haven't built, right? There's a couple out there. But those are like the manga variations that I haven't put together. Like the Tallgeese 3 Fugal or whatever. But as far as base kits, I've built every base kit you possibly exists for Wing. But I've built more from not initialty. Iron Blooded Orphans. Iron Blooded Orphans is the series that I've built the most kits from, because I have built so many I've built the ones from the mobile game. I built both of those. I built so many of those kits. They're still fantastic. Let's panel line, and then we can get into hands here. But I want to panel line these up a bit. No, the very old Gundam wing kits, the 90s wing kits, the 1/100 high grades were fun to build, because once you built one, you knew the base for all of them, and it was kind of easy to do them again as someone who was starting out. But yeah, they're not great. If we find out who Soletta and Mjorne's husband are, oh, that's a good joke. That yes, like, oh, they got wedding rings. So who did they marry? Did one of them marry Ghoul? You know, like, yeah, somebody marry Bob. That's a good joke. That's a good joke. Married to the game, yes. Married to their jobs. Okay, so let's talk about a new series, Sweet Reincarnation, which I thought was gonna be about. Okay, so there's a guy. He's world famous as a chef. We don't know his name because it doesn't matter. Because spoiler alert, he dies to get reincarnated into a fantasy world. This dude loves making sweets. He dies doing what he loved. Not cooking. No, one of his giant confections falls on him and he dies. But a god or somebody was watching that and they were like, okay, dude, I'm going to reincarnate you in this other world. He is named, literally this character's name is Pastry and his last name is Casserole. And you're like, Pat, is this a parody of isekais? And the answer is no. This is not a parody of isekais. This motherfucking name is Pastry Casserole. He's the son of a lord, a local lord. And he's like, okay, well, I'm going to make sweets. And throughout the episode, we see, like, in his mind, the things he can create and, like, new techniques they don't know about. And, like, he can really push his art in new ways in this world. But this series is apparently not about him doing that. It's about him trying to do that while also having to deal with other bullshit. Namely, he's going to be the next lord of this. He's got responsibilities. He's the only son of Lord Casserole. Doodle says, I read the first few chapters of the manga and it lost me. Too much time spent on managing the country, fighting bandits, etc. Almost nothing on food. That's what I've heard. I've heard I've heard it approached from the other end, which is if the idea uh, of a isekai about a guy who just wants to make pastries isn't exciting, don't worry, it's not really about that. As if it was like, oh, are you worried that you're going to be bored with this like story? So I would say I would probably be more interested in that, like the food element of it. Um, but this is apparently not going to do that. I don't know. I'm checking it out. I also don't have much new stuff that comes out on Sunday or Monday right now. I'm waiting to see what comes out. So I'm going to give this another episode. Um, also, magic is real in this world. Uh, and we don't know what his magic is going to be, but it's probably also going to be like a big deal because he is a reincarnation. So we'll probably have a lot of abilities to deal with. Um, I think visually looked great. His fantasies, I think, looked fantastic of like food. The art was nice. I'm going to give it another episode, another 2 episodes probably. I don't do the 3 episode thing because all the time. Because sometimes 1 episode is enough. Sometimes you're just like, oh, I'm not vibing with this, or the art style here just doesn't hit me. Like, it's not this season, but next season, the seventh. There's a bunch of shows about the Seventh Prince. This one is, uh, the anime is close to the manga's art style, which normally will be great. They really capture the art style of the manga. Except, I hate the art style of Seventh Prince. It's got this like, I can't describe it. I don't have the words to describe it, but I don't like how the art looks. It's like disturbing in some way. Unsettling, maybe, is the right word for it. Anyway, I don't like the art style, and apparently the anime has really captured that art style. And I'm like, oh, then I don't want to watch this. You know what it is? It looks like it has the appearance of missing some lines and some detail, but it's not. The artist is painstakingly making this art look bad to me. That's not this season. That's the next season. But they announced it at AnimeCon, so I was like, ah, fuck. I'm definitely not going to watch that because if they'd gone a different way, because like there's a manhwa coming out this year, or an adaptation of a manhwa coming out this year, and next year there's a manhwa adaptation. We got Solo Leveling next year, and then this year we're getting Returner's Magic Should Be Special. And both of those just look like fucking anime. They don't look like manhwa. Uh, whereas like Tower of God felt like the manhwa. Noblesse feels like the manhwa. These don't feel like that. They feel like, oh, this is an anime adaptation of it. And they changed the art style to appeal more towards a Japanese audience or, international audience that is expecting the Japanese style. Which is fine. I do think Solo Leveling's unbelievable color choices made it stand out. The story is the thing that people really come to it, but I think that the second trailer came out for Solo Leveling, and there's not enough purple in there. Purple is a really important color in that show, and so I'm hoping that still ends up shining through. I don't know if it will, but I hope it does. I know that's a weird thing to say, but it is. It's important. So yeah, Sweet Reincarnation, totally okay. Tokyo Destroyers has a unsettling, in a positive way, like a cool, weird, unsettling opening song. And then I was watching it and I was like, yeah, I'm alright. Yeah, I'm okay. I wasn't even going to try that show, but a couple friends of mine were getting into it, so I wanted to give it a go because they were positive on it. But yeah, I was just like not particularly feeling it. All right, so we got to put some hands together here. Later, we'll probably end up doing a different fist that allows you to hold things. Right now, it looks like we're not doing either of those, which is fine. just get these together here. I'll tell you about a manhwa. Speaking of the South Korean comics, let me tell you about a manhwa I just started reading. Level Up with Skills. All right, so this is part of the Reincarnation as Yourself, the time displacement, the redo style of series. The history of it is this. The story history of it is this. One day, a connection to a labyrinth showed up, and members of humanity were sucked into the labyrinth. And you had different ability. You could choose different difficulties, all the way up to solo, where you're basically alone and you can't really get any help and you're not going to run into people, up to easy, where you can party up and there's a lot of people there, but your rewards at the end would be different. And the people that chose to do it were like, some people chose the solo because they wanted to test themselves, because they weren't aware of what was going on. And only one person ever survived solo. But when she came out of it, she was the strongest person that anyone had run into, because the strength was your strength ability was tied to, or your skills were tied to completing the labyrinth. The second strongest person on Earth was actually a guy from the easiest difficulty, and he took a very long time to complete it. He learned a lot. He did every secret thing he could possibly come up with. He painstakingly took his time to figure all this shit out so that he could have as many skills as possible. And what happened when people came out of the labyrinth? Fame, fortune, celebrity? No. While they were gone, monsters showed up on Earth, and Earth was pretty much destroyed. And so they had to use the skills they had learned in the labyrinth to fight these monsters. And they weren't fucking winning. They were not winning at all. And then also you had to deal with, sometimes people would come out of the labyrinth and they would be freaked out because they had built up in their heads that oh, I'm out. They didn't recognize that they would be coming into a different, bigger fucking problem. Which I think is an interesting approach. But the real story of this one is our dude who learned all those skills. He learned a lot of skills, a lot of talent, who is the second strongest person on Earth. Finally, it's down to, also, he would be the strongest, but because he had the easiest difficulty, a lot of his powers are sealed, which he also didn't know. He gets the opportunity to restart at the time of being summoned. So we are watching level up with skills, him going through now the hardest difficulty and remembering what he learned about it and making new discoveries as he goes along the way, because he's advocating for himself to have the best possible outcome in this. So he's learning as he goes the best way to do things and remembering some abilities, and he's far outshining how he would normally. And so we're watching him just with his own knowledge, his inherent beliefs. He's also trying to make sure that more people succeed in the solo run, because you can communicate with other people. You can't party with them, but you can communicate with them. He's trying to instruct them, because he knows, and he doesn't tell them, obviously, he knows when they all leave, they're going to have to fight monsters. So he wants everyone on every level to get stronger, because, it's going to benefit them in the long run. So we're just going to, that's kind of what we're getting here, is we're watching this tale, we're watching this story unfold of this guy making his way unprecedented throughout this tower. And he's also just where I left off, he's learning some history about the tower, which he didn't know before, from a ghost It's fun. He's learning some stuff from this ghost, uh, and basically how the gods, various gods who are contained within the tower, how they made a deal with a mage because the gods found this idea to be very entertaining. We don't know why monsters show up involved with it, but maybe we'll learn that. Why won't this pop in? This fist will not go into this part, and I don't know why. I'm going to build the other one here. I'm going to build this other hand and then try and figure out why. And then this goes like that. Yeah. And then you turn the part. Oops. So yeah, it's a fun manga, a manhwa, I should say. I'm reading it now. I'm looking forward to the next chapter because I think it's an interesting story, and I want to read more of it. Oh, is this the wrong piece? No. Now's the part of the stream where I want to hear from you while I struggle with these hands and maybe eventually just get other hands and try to get those in. What are you watching right now? What are you reading? What are you playing? What's got you interested? What's got you going? What are you into right now? I would like to hear from you about that. Me, I'm playing Hearthstone. You know me. There's a new mode that I've been playing that I like. So I am checking that out still and enjoying my time in Hearthstone. I have briefly touched, and of course we'll stream more. We'll stream that in the future. We haven't done it yet, but I have started, and I'm going to try to restart Mars First Logistics because I kind of want to start from the beginning of that on stream. But Mars First Logistics is really fun. That's an early access. Jeff Gersman streamed that on Friday. Totally worth checking out his archive. That's really fucking fun. I'm really enjoying that. So I'll be definitely doing more of that in the future. Death Strike is reading Fist of the North Star and Mashal. Nice. Tomorrow's stream, 9 p.m. Eastern. I haven't talked about that yet. We're gonna check out the paid DLC for Power Wash Simulator, which is SpongeBob SquarePants. As of right now, I have not gotten a code for that. I applied for a code for the DLC to the publisher, Square Enix. Have not gotten confirmation on that. So I will buy the DLC. And if I do get the code, I will certainly let you know. I bought the game originally. I don't mind buying it, but I did apply for the code. And it's still... I haven't been rejected from it, but they haven't approved it yet. So if they don't, I'll wait till tomorrow afternoon, and if it don't, I'll just buy it and download it. I have not touched it yet. Lord Crashing finished that DLC. It's fun, so that's good. Lastwork says tried to start Magic Knight Ray Earth and kind of liked it, but it's also not holding me. I mean, that shows its age, but I do think that it's worth checking out. I do like that series a lot, but I can understand if you're not super digging it. Aristophan is addition to Final Fantasy 16. You played a small puzzle game called Polymines, which is a combination of Picross and Minesweeper. Ooh, that sounds fun. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I do know. I'm not sure how far I'm going to get in before I restart Mars First Logistics. That'll be an option for the Patreon, my $10 patrons for voting on what I build next, or what I play next, I should say, for next week. That'll be one of the options for them, along with Persona 4 Golden and Sunshine Shuffle. Persona 4 Golden I haven't touched since this weekend. I'm going to play more of it. It's Persona 4 Golden with mods. No new mods yet, but I'm still having fun doing it, hanging out, trying to hang out a lot with my boy Kanji, because he rules, and just seeing what's up in that game. Lord Crashing did start Dave the Diver, which is fun, and it's already getting weird. I would imagine that gets weird. Death Strike restarted Mario Picross 2 because I used hints on 2 stages, and that locked me out of the 10th bonus puzzles permanently. Oh, fuck. Fuck that. You were 90% finished with the game when you realized it. Ah, that sucks. You used in-game hints instead of looking it up because there's an in-game hint system, but they punish the in-game hint system, so you should just look it up if you need hints. I don't like that at all. Shaky fist. So we need to do the shoulders before we can slide the arms in. I'm just putting these in just to make it easier, but we do need to build the shoulders, which we will build on Thursday, which will be the next model kit building stream. But that is going to do it for tonight and what we did here. We are going to wrap things up. We got rated early on, which is wonderful. We love that. Shoulders are so big. Yes, this kid has big old shoulders. We are going to raid. We're going to find someone else doing cool shit out there and we'll hang out with them because we did get raided as well, which is lovely. So let's go and see who is out there doing stuff. We're going to go back to this screen here, go find somebody to go hang out with, and see what's up. Let's see. Yes, there is no Mary Kish. We normally raid Mary on Mondays for Mary Mondays. But we are not going to be able to raid Mary because she is on vacation in Paris and seemingly okay. She seems to be doing all right in a somewhat seemingly unstable environment. So who else do we hang out with? How long is this person been going? Hell of a time. Totally. Okay. Oh, well, we are not going to raid Unarmed Oracle Cameron because he's been streaming for almost 7 hours. And maybe he's going to keep going. Or 6 hours, I say. He's been streaming for about 6 hours. Who knows when he would stop? We're not going to go find out. We're not going to find out. Should we? Let's see. Let's see. Should we? Who should we raid on a Monday? How long have they been going? Yeah, I don't know how much long Effie is streaming for, but let's go raid Effie. Effie every Monday, and I've never raided him on a Monday before, but we should. Instead of watching Raw, instead of watching WWE, he watches independent wrestling that approve and want him to watch it. So he watches some indie stuff as an alternative to watching WWE and gives commentary over that wrestling. So we'll raid Effie because Effie is awesome. I don't know how longer he's going to stream, but I feel like that's a fun thing, so we can do that. So let's go give Effie a raid. Feel free to come along in this raid. If you don't want to, that's okay. I hope you come back tomorrow night as I dive deeper into Power Wash Simulator and try to remember specifics from SpongeBob that I don't remember at all. I hope you have a great evening. I'll see you in the next one. Thanks for hanging out tonight. Thanks for being a lively chat. It's always nice when that happens. It's not required, but it is nice. I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye, everybody. Goodbye, 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 goodbye.